Welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Hour podcast. I'm one of your hosts, DQ.
And I'm your other host, Andrew. Today we have a very special episode lined up for you today. We're deep diving into a topic that affects many, both young and old, and that's bullying.
That's right, Andrew. And to help us navigate this topic, we brought in a special guest with us today. Joining us live from Zoom, he's a superintendent from Highland Falls and a fantastic community partner. So please welcome Michael McElduff.
So first and foremost, thank you for having me on today. It's a great opportunity to give back to the county.
Michael, we're thrilled to have you. Let's dive right in. Bullying is a complex issue, and many wonder about its root causes. What do you believe are the root causes of bullying in today's society?
So, talking about root causes of bullying in today's society, bullying in general is a complex thing. There's so many different root causes of it. Things that we have identified in our schools and other school districts as well across the county and the state. Students have insecurities, right? I mean they're going through changes. They're in environments with their peers. So we think insecurity is that one of the causes. A need for power is a big one. And the social dynamics, especially as students get older, progress in that middle and high school, where they're really trying to find themselves. Attention seeking is another one that we've identified. Lack of empathy, and that's something that we really harp on, and we'll talk about throughout this. But lack of empathy is something that we think students are lacking. And then the obvious that sometimes isn't discussed is they're being bullied themselves. It may be by other peers, adults, or siblings in their lives. So sometimes then they're reacting on how they're being treated. So those are some of the main ones. I mean, there's more than that, but those are the ones that we focus
on. Right, and just building upon that, as you know, there are going to be different root causes for each one. There's no definitive root cause. So with these cases in mind, can you share some effective strategies schools and communities can implement to prevent bullying?
Yeah, I think, even before you prevent bullying, you kind of have to also understand it. When we're looking at an incident or a situation that's brought to our attention, we're really looking at four different things, and so we kind of call it like, what is bullying? So there's a teasing aspect. And really, when we see students teasing, it's typically in a social setting where people are having fun, the kids are having fun, no one's getting hurt, and everybody is participating, and they're all on an equal playing field. So when we find situations in that, we treat it differently. Sometimes there's conflict with students, two students not agreeing on something or a group of kids not agreeing on it. There is a possible solution to their disagreement, but again, there's an equal balance of power, right? So, that's something that we really look at as a school and as a district. Where's the power at? When it comes to teasing or conflict, they're equal for the most part. Another thing that we see a lot is a me moment. Somebody just steps out of themselves for whatever the reason is, and they are doing something hurtful on purpose. They're saying something. They're reacting to something that took place or something that they perceive. And these are typically isolated incidents, and they don't happen regularly. And again, there isn't an unbalance of power yet. It isn't until we able to identify, this is bullying, right? This is something that's happening consistently over a period of time. There's some sort of pattern to it, and someone is being constantly hurt on purpose. And then there's the piece of that unequal balance of power, right? Somebody's holding something. It doesn't have to be height. A lot of people always, you see movies, the bully is like the tall, big kid or whatever. That's not the case, especially when, students can also hide behind their cell phones and the technology. But, we identify bullying as there's some sort of unequal balance of power, and our job is to bring that balance of power back. So, we look at strategies for, one of the big things is, intervening in the moment. We're reporting it, we're investigating it, we're following up with it, so those are the things that we do if we do deem bullying. But in terms of preventing it, there's so many different ways to go about it. What the biggest one is for us is building a positive culture and climate within the building, within the district, right? That team, that family, that community atmosphere, that's a big piece for us. Because, students begin to appreciate each other. They appreciate where they're coming from, the situations they're in. You know, on top of that, you know, when you're building positive culture climate, celebrating the good of others, you know, shouting out kids for doing the right thing, you know, making that a big deal. Other things that we do, you know, we focus on that SEL, the social emotional learning piece, and that's all about building their own self-confidence, making sure they see good in themselves before they see good in others, and learning how to love themselves. And I think those are important. You can give students all the strategies you want, but if they don't find the good in themselves, and we don't build their own confidence and make them love themselves, then sometimes it's hard for them to, you know, have that empathy for others, or even, you know, just be kind because they're struggling with their own selves. You know, other things we do team building, whether it's peer to peer, you know, teacher to peer or adult to peer. We do community circles. Community circles are a big thing. You know, just because you're sitting with your classmates in a group and you're just talking about a topic, it could be simple as, you know, what's your favorite movie? But if you build that community within that classroom, you can start to begin to dive into deeper topics. You know, you build that trust with them, and so those are things that we look to do. Again, going back to teaching empathy, that's a big SEL piece is you know, teaching empathy. And then finally, you know, one thing that we're just starting to do more of since coming back from COVID is collaborating with our parents, right? You know, that's the key piece that we're beginning to really look towards. And I think you know, COVID put a dividing line between families and schools, and we're trying to bridge that gap now. And so collaborating with them and hearing them out. You know, so those, you know, are there more? There's a lot more, but those are things that in our school, our district, we're focusing on, as well as many other districts.
Right. And I think, you know, as you were speaking, I was thinking of like another scenario where you have a child who is being bullied and they don't want to go and report, you know, that they're being bullied because that can lead to just a more complicated situation that can lead to more bullying, more teasing. So, what would you tell a student to try and go and get assistance from a person that they trust? How should they go about that?
Yeah, I think feeling some sort of way, say something. You know, find a school counselor, a social worker, that teacher that you connect with. Goes back to building relationships early on, right? Students will connect with a teacher. I mean, I'm sure anybody listening to this, including the both of you, you know, you remember that one teacher that really made a difference in your life, in a positive way. You know, building those relationships. So going to those go-to people, those people that you can trust. You know, we also, you know, always tell students, tell your parents, tell your family, you know, tell someone and get them to talk to us. But kids are scared, right? They don't want to be the quote unquote the snitch. They don't want it. They don't want it to lead to more bullying. So, you know, during investigations, when we're trying to figure out what's going on, the root cause, we do try to keep their name anonymous throughout, right? And that's how you earn that trust and you build that trust with them. So at the end of the day, we do need to know because we do have to help them, but we also know that, you know, their reputation's on the line. They don't want to be looked at or viewed at as, you know, somebody, you know, I used to call it tattletelling, they call it snitching. It's all the same. So, you know, we have a platform at the high school right now where students can anonymously report something. We're working on something similarly at our middle school because we know that's an important piece. They don't want to necessarily tell us because they're afraid of the repercussions, which is completely understandable. But the faster they get it to an adult, the quicker we can resolve those issues.
I think that's a great segue into our next question. How could individuals stand up against bullying when they witness it?
Those students, you know, are the key because they're there, they're seeing it. You know, so we talk to students in general. You know, if you feel comfortable intervening, you know, meaning saying something like, "Hey, that's not cool," like leave him alone or leave her alone. We always recommend, you know, stepping in, you know, and just saying, addressing it, like that's not cool. For the most part, when other kids hear that, they do back off because that does register, right? Students have a great impact on each other, especially as they get older. So if their peers are saying like, that's not okay, like, you can't say that, you can't do that, they will stop and listen. All the time, no, but that does happen. If students don't feel comfortable or confident enough to intervene, which is understandable, we ask them, you got to come tell somebody. Because if it was happening to them, you would want someone on your side and supporting you. So again, we just try and, open the doors of communication, letting an adult know as soon as possible, because the quicker, the school finds out about it, the quicker we can support them. But, intervening if they're competent and comfortable enough. If not, letting someone know, because they're advocating, right? They're advocating for a friend or just a bystander, right? Just someone that they saw something wrong. And we praise those kids because that's what we're trying to build: good character and kindness, right? So the kids that are standing up for others, those are important. Those are leaders that we need to lean on more. We want witnesses to be more than just witnesses. We want them to advocate for their friends.
Michael, for those who might be experiencing bullying right now, what resources would you recommend?
When it comes to resources, it sounds like I'm just saying the same thing, but it's you gotta find that adult, that trusted adult. You have to tell them. We see it all too often where it'll go days, weeks, nobody has said anything, and so really, and if they don't feel comfortable saying something at school, they got to tell their parent. And on that back end, that parent then needs to call us immediately. I come from the age where my parents, if something went on in school, they said, well, you got to figure it out. And so nowadays we're saying, no, don't do that. Just let us know. That way we can help, right? Especially, when you're talking about, technology based with cell phones and things, a lot of things happen on the weekends or after school hours. That's where, some of that unstructured time is, and they got a lot of downtime. And a phone is a powerful tool, for good and for bad, like you had stated. So when things happen, we always say, even if you just email us on the weekend, just send us, hey, something happened. Please look into this or give me a call. Again, students have to find that trusted person. And sometimes it is a friend, but normally it's an adult. So we again, can't stress it enough to families, parents, students. Find that adult, let them know, and continue to make it known that you're struggling. Because the longer we let things go, the worse it can be. But the quicker we find out we can help, we do have supports to help that. Our school counselors, social workers, our school psychologists, the nurse is a great person to go to. Anybody, that you feel comfortable, but our counselors, social workers, they're equipped with the tools and the resources to connect with kids and kind of get to the root causes of things. So we're administrators as well, but students shy away from telling an administrator things because they automatically assume they may get in trouble for it. But go to those other safe places is really what we say. And there are things online. We have resources on our website as every other school district does. There are hotlines and things to go to look up if you're being bullied or teased. There's FAQs for parents, on ways to do it. So we are giving out a lot of information. This is the information, there's so much information out there. I think sometimes it overloads people. But yeah, the resources we have plenty, but at the end of the day, you got to tell somebody as soon as possible.
Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, how can we foster a culture of empathy and understanding to discourage bullying behaviors?
Yeah, some things that we foster in our schools specifically. Something that just came up, Unity Day, right? This is October is Bully Prevention Month. So Unity Day is a big deal for us. And that's really, we're just talking about promoting kindness, acceptance, inclusion. Working along with our DEI committee to promote diversity and inclusion throughout our schools. So students see that people come from different backgrounds, but that's what makes us such a great place, that we can learn from each other. Again, going back to that, promoting that empathy. So another thing that we are doing more of is safe school ambassadors. That's a student-centered model that educates our students with the skills to prevent and reduce bullying. And that goes back to that bystander piece. Educating students, through the Safe School Ambassador training. We're equipping our hallways and our playgrounds and our cafeterias with students that can identify if there's a negative situation going on. And now they're equipped with either to intervene or connect with adult, check in on that child that may have been teased or treated unfairly. And that, again, that you're teaching empathy, you're building leaders, and you're building a support system within the student body. And that's an important that in our high school, and we're moving it into our middle school sometime in the spring as well, training our faculty, staff, and students in that. Because I think, again, prevention is the key to everything, right? And so giving our students the tools with something like a Safe School Ambassadors, getting them more involved with our DEI committees, just understanding the good in others, and being kind is cool, quote unquote. And with all that, I think that really just teaches empathy. And that's our end goal, right? Is to teach empathy, because you don't know if someone's just having a bad day. And being able to accept that we're not always perfect, but if we work together and we communicate with each other, we can make a positive school environment, and that's really what we're all, striving for at this point.
Michael, I just want to thank you so much for shedding light on this critical issue and providing some actionable insights about bullying. So we truly appreciate your time and expertise, and we enjoy having you coming on our podcast today and discussing this critical topic, which is bullying. So thank you very much for agreeing to this and coming on here and just highlighting this topic.
Definitely. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember, change starts with us. Let's be kind, understanding, and supportive to all.
So until next time, stay healthy and stay kind. Take care.